Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Pocket Edition, that episode being episode 57. Today I'm joined by your show regular Mark and I don't want to call you a newcomer Max, but perhaps a return to the ranks. Maximol from the States is joining us today. How have you guys been?
I've been great, mate. How have you been?
Very good actually. Surviving the heat still. Mark, I think he's okay.
Yeah.
He hasn't said much, but
you just started the episode. Of course, I haven't said much.
A little bit. We've lost him to Kingdom Hearts 3.
I mean, that's not entirely wrong either.
Oh, no, it's not wrong. You finished that game in a freakish amount of time.
Yep.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. Well, like now I've finished most of the post game stuff, so I'm done.
Very nice. Are you doing a review anywhere, Mark, on your channel or our channel?
I will be doing a review on both my channel and this channel.
Very nice. Very nice.
But it's a big game to unpack because there's a lot to talk about.
Very good. All right. So today, guys, we are going to be discussing Microsoft's seemingly endless expansion for Xbox into other services and all that jazz. So, for those of you who do not know, Microsoft has announced and are intending to expand a Xbox Live app onto other mobile devices, and those mobile devices happen to include the Switch. So, from what we've read, there's not been a lot of information regarding what this app is going to do. We suspect it's probably just some kind of portal login to Xbox Live, and it's probably something to do with crossplay as well. But today we're probably just going to go all the way down the rabbit hole and spitball around potential ideas and where we could see it potentially going. So I'm going to handball it off to you first, Max, because you had some interesting thoughts regarding how Mixer would tie in as well. So run with it.
Yeah, definitely. So I thought it was interesting because I hadn't really seen Mixer going anywhere. For a while, I thought Mixer is kind of like a failed experiment, and I thought that like Twitch and everything else would be the way to be. But a lot of people who are looking into streaming and starting streaming and everything like that are saying Mixer because Microsoft, with their new console and their whole expanding into everything, because they've been losing the console generation in terms of sales, it seems like they're going to try and push Mixer onto all of their devices to try and have like the ultimate live streaming service. And I feel like that might actually work because according to this Game Informer article, Nintendo Switch users don't even have a native streaming app like for Twitch or anything. So if Microsoft were to beat them there with a Mixer app, that would be absolutely huge. And the fact that they're pushing Xbox Live onto PC already and onto mobile, like there are even mobile games like Solitaire and stuff you can play that have Xbox Live integrated in and like achievements and stuff like that. So that's kind of been the whole shtick with them since Phil Spencer became head. And it's funny because a lot of people like to complain about that, but I don't really think that's a bad thing. I mean, right now I'm paying $10 a month for access to over 100 games whenever I want.
Your Game Pass is incredible.
Game Pass is the best. I literally don't have to buy Halo 6 or Infinite or Crackdown 3 or any of Microsoft exclusives ever. I have a great network to play on. Cross-platform works for multiple games. Like I have friends like my good friend Graham. He plays on PC a lot. We can play Minecraft together, and Rocket League and all that. Hell, we even built a server with everyone in my house and our friend who has a Switch. We are playing on PCs, Xboxes, and Switches.
That's incredible.
All in the same world. Like, what other game can you do that with? I guess Fortnite. But that's absolutely huge. So the fact that Microsoft is pushing this onto Switch, I think, is really, really cool. And like we said, we don't really know how this is going to work. I don't know if it's going to be like an app you just log into, and what if Nintendo games connected to Xbox Live? I don't know if that'll be a thing. I don't know if Nintendo will ever allow that. So it might only be like third-party games where you like log into Xbox Live and just play through there. I don't know if it's going to be like a system-wide thing or not. It would be cool though if like you just look on your friend on your Xbox friends list and be like, oh, they're playing Mario Odyssey or something. Like that'd be cool. But I doubt that'll be the case.
That's an interesting point because I could see Microsoft allowing I guess, Nintendo IPs through some service on their console. Again, I think it would be Nintendo restricting that, if anyone. But I could see that working because the difference between the two and their catalogs of games and what they create is vastly different. So they would complement each other rather than cannibalizing each other and being competition. I think they nicely complement each other, and I think that's probably the reason why I've seen the relationship between Microsoft and Nintendo seemingly strengthen through crossplay is the diversity and difference between their catalogs of games. And again, like Sony's probably missed the boat now. Like it's really put themselves in a hard spot. But this app is very interesting. Because it does open that portal to a lot of other devices. And we know you could already sign in on tablets and stuff like that with a different Xbox app, I think it was. And obviously on PC and your Xbox, the ecosystem was already pretty healthy in terms of devices, but expanding it out with an app that can basically be on any phone or mobile device, including the Switch, is extremely wise and intelligent, because it's not necessarily about winning a console hardware sales war. It's about having access to hardware so you can sell more games. And that's exactly what this app is going to do. It's going to give them an incredible install base of people with devices that can now purchase and play games. And this leads us to the next point of... sorry, Mark, feel free to jump in and backtrack wherever you want. But this leads us to the next point of their new cloud gaming service that they kind of rumored, announced / patented, called xCloud. And I'm assuming that's how they're intending on delivering gameplay experiences to all these devices through this app. So yeah, wow, it's seemingly just dropping the hammer now. It's it's the Microsoft show. They've done it. As far as I'm concerned, they're in the process, or they're really close to realizing an incredible ecosystem of devices that basically all buy Xbox games from their store.
It'd be interesting because the Nintendo Switch's online service isn't really that prominent anyway. It'd be cool if you see sort of the Xbox Live and sort of xCloud thing take that over, because it's sort of more versatile and will probably have a better sort of lineup of games if it does work like a streaming service.
That would be interesting as well, because I think Nintendo's displayed that they are not necessarily interested in monopolizing on online features and services. They're about selling unique hardware and selling games on their unique hardware. So I could totally see them, to some degree, leveraging Microsoft's services if it's mutually beneficial.
Switching it up.
I think it's a genius idea.
He's got his pun. It's been a while.
Been saving
also, keep in mind that they just changed. Microsoft just changed their game publishing from Microsoft Game Studios to Xbox Game Studios. So that probably means something here. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Halo 7 published on the Switch 2 or something like that. If that is the route, because I'm sure Nintendo and Microsoft already have this all handled. It's probably all on paper, and they probably all know exactly what they're going to do. We just don't know about it yet. And like Mark was saying, the Switch service is not very prominent right now, so it would make perfect sense that they just take advantage of Xbox's fantastic voice chat, party system, servers, even achievements and stuff. It would make sense to make them do the work, and Nintendo could keep doing what they want to do and still exist in the modern generation.
Well, that's it.
Having to quote unquote adhere to the trends.
Look at how many online first-party games Nintendo actually release every year, like Smash Bros. And Mario Kart, maybe Splatoon here and there. There's not a lot of games that they release that I think really require an online, fully fledged online service, which is probably why you've seen them get slack with voice chat and all that shit on the Switch, right? It's because a lot of what they do release is still single-player experiences. And if the multiplayer experiences are coming from the third-party side, why not just leverage Microsoft and crossplay in that environment and just let them handle all the fucking nitty-gritty shit?
Yep. And crossplay is the future. That's just how it is. I never thought I would care about crossplay that much, but now that it's becoming a thing, and I have friends building PCs and everything, it makes a lot more sense. Soli, you and I were just talking yesterday. We want to play Apex Legends together. It'd be much easier for us if it was crossplay, which they're looking into.
right, and so they should be. It is a feature that I think is not only demanded, it's expected now.
It's going to be.
Too bad if you're a Sony player, because they are fondling the ball all over the place with that. And it's because they probably recognize what Microsoft is truly trying to do, and it's not necessarily insidious, but it plays directly into their advantage. So
we've been saying that for years, and people are like, "Oh, Sony will be fine." No, Microsoft has been planning for this since the One X was like rumored.
Before the One X,
since Phil Spencer jumped on.
Since Phil Spencer, dude. Yep.
Ben saying, and everyone's like, "Oh no, Microsoft's stupid."
No, they're playing the long game, dude. They are playing the long, and they're realizing the long game right now.
Yeah,
they're creating the long game.
They're setting the trends, which is it's incredible. Just to watch.
What they used to do.
Yeah,
To be fair, that's what they were back in the day.
Well, they became obsessed with. I think their philosophy just became a little bit outdated, or it kind of just didn't work in like a 2013 model back in 2013. And they were obsessed with owning the living room in terms of being a gaming entity and a media entity. And they kind of realized that, but then they pushed that envelope too far with like cable integration into your Xbox and just all this fluff. And people the Xbox had an identity crisis.
Yeah.
Because they just were doing too much and they were too restrictive in other areas. And I think Phil Spencer came along and he changed their like core philosophy around what the Xbox is going to be, and we're starting to realize that now, which is it's an all-embracing platform that it connects everybody. It's not prejudiced to hardware and branding. Microsoft just want to embrace everything because obviously they want to sell games and they want to create the best area to play, and they've done that. They've done it.
They have.
They're hitting home runs, dude. I mean, the only thing, the last piece of the puzzle is just getting a few exclusives here and there, and they're already taking steps to achieve that with the acquisition of like 7 first-party studios.
And damn good ones too.
Yeah, Obsidian. Like just to name one.
Obsidian's going to do some crazy stuff.
The Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds.
That game looks awesome. And like everyone's like, "Oh, it's not exclusive to Xbox." Phil doesn't care. Like, they don't care about that anymore.
He wants to sell games.
Yeah.
He doesn't. It doesn't matter. Like, it might matter. Does it really matter to you, the owner? Like, oh well, I bought my purchase has not been validated because it's not exclusive to my piece of plastic. What's your fucking point? You've got a PC, you've got a tablet, and you've got an Xbox. You can play it on 3 fucking devices. You fucking moron. Like,
nope.
Are you serious?
That's a plus in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. That's a huge plus.
More of a win. And the ability to play it on my Switch. If I could play Halo 6 on my fucking Switch, like on the train, hell yeah. That's awesome.
Let's dovetail back into xCloud gaming. Where do you see that going specifically? Do you think it will be a case of xCloud gaming being a traditional streaming service? So like the compute happens on their end and their infrastructure on their hardware, and then you can basically play it on whatever device you're on. Could you guys see Xbox games being playable on the Switch through this service? Or do you think it's just going to be more of some kind of portal for crossplay or something along those lines?
It'll probably start as a portal for crossplay.
Yeah.
But I imagine that the grand scheme might be that it becomes sort of like the cloud system for streaming all games over all platforms.
So pretty much exactly what we've been pitching.
It can't just hit the ground running.
Yeah, like we've been pitching this the whole time, this episode of basically enabling people to play Xbox games on no matter what their device is.
Yeah, I think that's the plan. And right now, they're running it on a 4G network in-house, which works, and it's going to work with 5G, which is going to be huge, because 5G is going to be fast. I mean, they're testing it this year. Like, it's going to be public testing this year, so we'll be able to know this very soon.
Yeah, that's really interesting, because I actually heard late last year, probably around when they were talking about it or patenting it, right, that they'd eliminated a lot of the latency issues with cloud streaming as well. They figured out the magic formula of how to get just everything right and balanced to eliminate that kind of flux of latency. So that's, hey, if anyone's going to do it, it's fucking Microsoft. You know, it's originally software-based corporation, right? So they've got the wizards. They can do it if anyone can do it.
Plus, they kind of already do this. The Xbox PC app has a streaming, like you can stream from your Xbox to your PC. like anytime. Like at my old apartment, I had a boot camped version of my Mac, of Windows on my Mac. And I would bring it out into the living room to hang out with everyone, and I'd stream my Xbox console. Like, I'd play Rocket League from my Xbox, but it would be showing on my Mac in the living room, even though my Xbox was in my bedroom. It wasn't great. To be fair, our internet wasn't that great, but it wasn't super great, but it was playable. I couldn't do online. I had to be single player, but single player games worked just fine. So they've already been working on this stuff for a while.
Yeah. Yep. And again, this xCloud would tie directly into the rumors of, the rumored Scarlet box being a cloud-only system as well. So again, trimmed back hardware, that's a cheap entry point. Again, it's not about the boxes, it's just about getting people invested in your infrastructure and buying the games through it. And that infrastructure's infinitely expanding at the moment.
It is. It really is. This is a bit of a tangent, but it ties into this. There was this New York Times article I read a while ago, or it was like Washington Post. It was one of those, and I proposed this theory that game streaming would be the future of like work. Like streamers would be the future because once like automation comes in and takes a lot of like the lower tier jobs. Guess what people can still do for free with free-to-play games and streaming, which is also free. They'll have their mobile device, or they'll have a very cheap Xbox device that's cloud-based, and they'll be able to play games from anywhere, and they'll be able to live stream because they won't be able to like do any like non-skilled labor because that'll all be taken. So people who might not be fortunate enough to be able to get into skilled labor, they still have like an avenue there, and it's obviously a bit bold. Like, I was like, all right, that's a big claim here, but the idea is there. And I think that's sort of the audience that Microsoft can target.
Eventually,
we're
eventually going to need to create more jobs, or we're going to have to find ways for people to do stuff, just to do stuff in general. There's going to be more free time. So with the rate of the video game industry growing, yeah, exactly. As a form of entertainment, people are going to have more time to want to seek entertainment. So I could totally see that, continuing to grow or explode at some point in the far future, I guess, when everything, it's not going to be fast. Like, jobs are going to probably gradually phase out as it becomes more automated. But I could see, that growth and trend continuing. Yeah. I mean, it's a bit of a strange article, though. Yeah, like, it's just,
I know, right? I was like,
it's a strange straw to grab at. Like, you probably didn't need to write about that. It seems a bit strange, but
yeah. But like I understand the foundation behind his idea, and that's good.
Maybe it wasn't conveyed well.
Prediction. Yeah. To be fair, it could have been a bit ironic, and I just didn't read into it that way. But it's an interesting thing to think about, really, at the end of the day. And like, who knows? Microsoft might be the ones to like lead that with like all this free and cheap stuff, and like Xbox Live and the cloud and cross-platform. It's crazy. And with the accessibility controller too, they've made it their mission very clear that they just want people playing games. They just want people to be chill, playing games and enjoying things and making people's lives better and happier. That's what they're doing. They're not trying to fucking sell more consoles and create art. I don't know.
Well,
that's what Sony's here for.
It's always about making the money, but they're going about it in a honest, productive, healthy fashion, which is nice to see.
And that's exactly, like, it is about the money, but you could also take the EA route or the Microsoft route. And you know what? Microsoft, I'm happy to give my money to. So, as long as they're making people's lives better.
I mean, I'm sure that adaptive controller, that would have probably cost a lot to R&D. And I wonder how much they're actually going to sell, if it's really going to make them that much money. You know what I mean? So
probably not. That's the cool part.
It's just a piece of positive PR, and I'm sure Phil... I honestly believe there's probably Microsoft wanting to make money, and Phil's kind of the guy who's like, yeah, we should do this. It's a good thing to do,
Yep. Maybe in the long run it'll make them money, but it's obviously a very niche thing, and you don't see anyone else doing it, so probably because it wouldn't profit.
Definitely. All right, guys. To wrap it up, final thoughts. Mark, would you like to jump in first?
I can see a lot of... I can see their Xbox Live just being spread out over all consoles, not being just an app. I see it like, hey, so doing that xCloud thing. I think that it's sort of gearing up for that, for having Xbox games streamable on pretty much everything. But in terms of immediate future, I don't imagine it going both ways. Like, I don't imagine
Yeah.
Mario being on an Xbox One through the stream. I don't see that as the immediate thing, just because of how Nintendo are with their IPs.
Yeah.
And every time they have trusted someone to do something, it has kind of blown up in their face. But I can imagine it going one way, and over time it might. But I don't see it being immediate.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Mark. 110%. So that's my final thoughts.
Yeah.
Take us away, Max. Anything? Just want to ditto or?
No, I agree for the most. Sorry, I thought you said you were going to do your final thoughts. That's my bad. Yeah, I echo that completely. I think it's going to be a slow process, but I think it's going to be a very solid process. I think that we're going to see. I think Nintendo, the fact that they're doing mobile apps and everything, I think they are slowly coming around to things, and having someone sort of guide them into doing it, while also allowing them to sort of do what they want. I think that is a very beneficial partnership for both Microsoft and Nintendo, if that's the case. And it seems like that's where this is going. And yeah, I don't know if we'll see Mario and everything on an Xbox, but I think we'll see Halo on a Switch a lot sooner than we think we will, or in like things like that.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna drop one last little nugget in for you guys. I think it's very interesting. In terms of Microsoft building a productive relationship with Nintendo, how much access do you think that gives them to Japan? Because Microsoft has never been
all of it
in Japan.
All of it.
So that, like, we talk about Nintendo putting games, on the Xbox, but what if this is Microsoft's game plan or bid to now, gain access to a market that they've never had access to? So it's fucking pretty smart. Like, if you can't get in through the people, go through the company themselves that has access.
Yeah, Phil was in Japan. He revealed last E3. That's how we got all those studios. That's probably how the hell they got Kingdom Hearts 3 on the Xbox.
Man, Phil must have a golden tongue, dude. He must just fucking know how to rub people up right. He's a nice dude, though, so...
Yeah, he seems like a good dude.
Oh, let's wrap it up,
he doesn't seem slimy.
Yeah. No, definitely. Chime in below. Let us know what you think of this Xbox app. Would you play Halo 7, 8, 10, 9 on a Switch? Would you play Mario on an Xbox? What are your thoughts overall regarding xCloud and just what Microsoft's doing in general with their rapid expansion across devices? Where do you think Sony fits into this now as well? Let us know down below. It's something we didn't really touch much on this episode because, to be honest, from my point of view, it would just be basically a bit of ragging on them, which we've done enough of. I think they're aware that they need to do something. They're just not sure what they need to do. So let us know what you think they should do down below in the comments. As per usual, please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe to GameCast if you've enjoyed this episode for lots more of fabulous content coming up on the channel in the coming days. Until the next episode, though, guys, have a good one.